8 Weirdest Guinness World Records that you won't believe actually exist. There are a lot of people out there who have created history and have been celebrated in the Guinness Book of World Records. With that, there are also those who've set some of the most bizarre and weirdest world records that have ever existed. Like these. Kay Praveen holds the world record for the longest tongue. Generally, the length of the tongue in a human adult is 8.5 centimeters for males and 7.9 centimeters for females, but some have longer tongues than normal. At just 20-year-old, Kay Praveen, a native of Thiruthangal in Virudunagar, Tamil Nadu, has been inducted into the Indian Book of Records after officials confirmed his tongue measured a whopping 10.8 centimeters. Praveen has a tongue ranging to 10.8 centimeters in length, and this makes him eligible for the world record for the one with the longest tongue. His tongue was measured from the tip of the extended tongue to the rear part of the tongue on February 26, 2021. Currently, the title for the world's longest tongued male is held by Nick Stobrel, from Salinas, California in the U.S. According to the Guinness Book of World Records, Nick's tongue measured 10.1 centimeters in 2012. Praveen, a student of B Robotics, had entered the Asia Book of Records last year to touch his nose with his tongue 219 times in a minute. Not only can he touch his nose with his tongue but nearly touch his eye with it. He is practicing hard to touch his eyelids with his tongue. He can effortlessly touch the side of his nose and elbow with his extra-large tongue. Through practice, he can hide his tongue in his nasal cavity and calls the prank the invisible tongue. He can even use his tongue like a brush to draw and write letters. Gary Turner holds the record for the stretchiest skin. Meet Gary Turner, who currently holds the Guinness World Record for the stretchiest skin. Turner has been holding his stretchiest man title since 1999. He was born in 1971, with very loose skin. It later turned out to be a rare genetic disorder called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, a condition that affects ligaments, skin and internal organs. It led to further loosening of the skin, which is why this incredible fellow can stretch it a lot without feeling any pain. Although his talent makes him unique, Turner has also experienced multiple situations of bleeding and bruising that wouldn't heal very quickly. That's why he had to quit football and his job on a building site. Luckily, he was able to come up with a job where all the stretchiness came in handy. He works as a sideshow performer and is known as the Elastic Man. Because he has set the unusual record, Gary was invited to the Guinness World Records show in 2009, where he stunned the audience with all the unbelievable things his skin can do. As soon as he steps on stage, the show host explains about his condition and asks Turner to demonstrate a few things. With that, Turner takes the skin of his neck and stretches it so far that he was able to cover half of his face with it. The man can make a facial mask out of his skin. It's awesome and scary at the same time. According to the measurements taken on the show, Turner's stomach can be stretched to a length of 15.8 centimeters, which is more than 6 inches. Some people were cheering and some of them seemed a bit scared, especially when he stretched his eyelids, the skin from his knees and his chest skin. Ram Singh holds the world record for the longest mustache. Ram Singh, from Jaipur in Rajasthan state, India, proudly holds the Guinness World Record for the longest mustache with his impressive 18.5-foot-long facial hair. Ram, 62, has been growing his mustache since 1970 and spends 2 hours every day pampering it to ensure its continual growth, but only washes it once a fortnight. In Rome, in 2010, Ram was given the title and has not been beaten since. Ram Singh, I have been growing my mustache since 1970, and it is now longer than 18.5 feet. Both mustache and beard have always been a symbol of pride for men, so I've been able to earn a name, fame and respect for my mustache. People always compliment my mustache, including chief ministers, vice presidents and the President of India. I use various herbal oils to help maintain the health of my mustache. I massage my beard with a concoction of olive, mustard and coconut oil. Once I have done the mustache, I wash my beard with water infused with Fuller's Earth that I keep overnight. I spend 2.5 hours every day grooming my beard, but I only wash my mustache once every 2 weeks. Shredder has the longest fingernails in the record. One of the most intriguing record categories we have at Guinness World Records is that of the longest nails. People are fascinated with what compels people to grow them and how they live day to day with their super long nails. We've compiled a list of some of our most iconic longest nails record holders, current and previous. Let's take a look at these incredible record breakers and why they grow their nails so long. The longest fingernails on a single hand, ever measured an aggregate length of 909.6 centimeters, 358.1 in. This record is held by Sridhar Chillal, India, who grew the nails on his left hand. Sridhar embarked on his nail-growing journey in 1952 after an incident with one of his teachers. One of his friends had accidentally broken the teacher's long nail, resulting in Sridhar and his friend receiving a beating from the teacher. When they asked why he was so angry, the teacher replied, "Unless you grow long nails, you will never understand the kind of care required not to break them." After that, Sridhar and his friend started growing their own nails as a challenge. That challenge set in motion for Sridhar a 66-year-long obsession with growing the nails on his left hand. However, in July 2018, aged 82, Sridhar made the life-changing decision to cut his nails off. Ripley's Believe It or Not flew Sridhar to New York and organized the historic cutting, with the promise of displaying the record-breaking nails and their attractions, granting the wish Sridhar expressed in 2014 of having his nails displayed in a museum. Although he felt sad after having his nails cut, Sridhar said he was looking forward to being able to travel more easily and meet friends and relatives. The nails are now on display in the Ripley's Believe It or Not museums in New York and Amsterdam. The Ramos Gomez family set the record for being the largest hairy family in 2000. Victor, Larry, Gomez, Gabriel, Danny, Ramos Gomez, Luisa Lilia de Lira Aceves and Jesus Manuel Fajardo Aceves, all Mexico, are four of a family of 19 that span 5 generations, all suffering from the rare condition called congenital generalized hypertrichosis, characterized by excessive facial and torso hair. The women are covered with a light to medium coat of hair while the men of the family have thick hair on approximately 98% of their body apart from their hands and feet. Larry and Danny currently perform in the Mexican National Circus. All members of the family assisted scientists with the analysis of the gene responsible for CGH, and as a result, significant evidence was found for linkage with several markers from the long arm of the X chromosome. Macy holds the Guinness title for having the world's longest legs. A 17-year-old teenager from Texas, USA, has broken 2 world records thanks to her long legs. Macy Corin was certified by Guinness World Records as having the world's longest legs female and the longest legs on a teenager. The 17-year-old from Cedar Park, Texas, stands 6 feet, 10 inches tall. Her legs, both of which measure over 4 feet, make up 60% of her total height. According to Guinness World Records, Ms. Curran's left leg measures 135.267 centimeters, 53.255 in, while her right leg measures 134.3 centimeters, 52.874 in. The teenager has now knocked Russia's Ekaterina Lysina off the top spot for the Guinness World Record for longest female legs, reports Metro News. Ms. Corin says that being the tallest in her family and having long legs comes with both advantages and disadvantages. "I was never bullied for my legs. I was bullied because I was taller than everyone," she shared. "Around sophomore year I just stopped caring what people thought of me, and once I just stopped caring I wasn't affected by anything." The teenager says that she first realized her legs were longer than average in 2018 while looking for a pair of leggings. She was unable to find anything that fitted her, and then someone asked her if she wanted a custom pair of leggings. After that, she applied for the official Guinness World Records title for the world's longest legs female. Macy Corin, who is already popular on TikTok, hopes to make a career in modeling. She wants to achieve the record for being the world's tallest model. Odilon Ozair set the world record for making the world's tallest hat. Odilon Ozair's creation can be spotted from 100 yards away. Standing 4.8 meters 15 feet 9 in tall, his light gray top hat in Tampa, Florida, USA, now officially holds the record as the tallest hat, and it's very impressive. The 40-year-old is a huge fan of the top hat, and explained why he's so enthusiastic about them. "Hats have always been used to enhance the greatness of the wearer. The taller the hat, the greater the wearer. Who is the greatest American? Abraham Lincoln. Why? In part, because of his top hat. Odilon has made hundreds of hats during his career as a milliner, and wishes to see them become more mainstream. On the days he isn't stretching felt over hat-shaped forms, he's thinking up new designs and sketching ideas. It's a passion he's had since childhood, when his grandmother first introduced him to the art of hat making. Interestingly enough, while Odilon's grandmother first helped him learn his record-breaking trade, it was his grandfather who indirectly inspired him to go after his record title. A small doll that his grandfather once had was given to Odilon after he passed away, a figure which he recalled being dressed in similar uniform to his grandfather's time in the Korean War. I immediately had a connection to it, and over time it became an extension of me. I began to call it Little Odie. Like my grandfather dressed it in military fatigues, I started dressing it in tailcoat suits like myself. One day I was making the doll a top hat with a rolled up piece of paper. I was about to cut it and I paused a moment, covered the entire tube with wool felt and made the hat 11 inches, which is ridiculously tall for a 9-inch doll. That inspired me to start making a matching one for myself. Since I was a small boy, I've always followed Guinness World Records title holders, so as I was making the hat I thought to inquire about the record and soon found that mine was in fact a contender, and I started the process for proving it. Part of that process included having Odilon wear and carry the enormous hat more than 10 feet without it toppling over. After constructing his first prototype, which took hours of labor, a strong gust of wind sadly blew it to the ground, crushing the masterpiece. Forced to restart the process, the craftsman was determined to get his name in the record books and prove his capabilities as a milliner. Sandeep Singh Kaila set the world record for spinning a basketball on a toothbrush for the longest duration. The famous tome that has also recorded feats such as most milkshake dispensed through the nose. Gary Bashaw Jr. has had that one on lock since 1999 when he blew 1.82 ounces of milk and chocolate powder out his nostrils. Was it again this week when it officially crowned Indian native Sandeep Singh the world record holder for spinning a basketball on a toothbrush for the longest duration. Singh, whose technique begins by spinning the ball on his finger before transferring it to the toothbrush, which he eventually holds in his mouth, managed to spin the ball for 53 seconds, knocking off the previous record. Yes, apparently there was a previous record for this by 6.84 seconds. It was my dream to break a world record, he told Guinness after his record-breaking feat. We're not sure if we ever dreamed of watching such a thing, but, hey, it held our attention for a minute. Thank you for watching.